The termination happened in less than a minute, yet it shattered years of quiet effort and dignity in one sharp blow. On the 42nd floor of a glass tower in downtown Chicago, Michael Harrington, the CEO known for ruthless efficiency, signed the final paper without lifting his eyes. Across the desk stood Jacob Turner, a mid-level facilities supervisor who had never missed a shift, never raised his voice, and never asked for recognition. One failed inspection, one anonymous complaint, and the machine moved on. Jacob walked out with a cardboard box and a knot in his chest, unaware that this single moment would expose truths far deeper than either man expected. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of compassion, take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel so more stories like this can reach the people who need them most. Michael remained in his office long after the building emptied, staring at the city lights that mirrored his own reflection, sharp and distant. He told himself the decision was necessary, that leadership demanded firmness. Yet something gnawed at him, an unease he could not explain. Jacob's file showed no history of negligence, only years of steady service. When Michael noticed the handwritten note clipped to the back of the file, mentioning medical leave requests denied due to staffing shortages, a crack formed in his certainty. On impulse that surprised even him, Michael left the tower, slid into his black sedan, and followed the address listed on Jacob's employment records. Jacob's journey home was not dramatic, but it was heavy. He rode 2 buses west, past neighborhoods slowly shedding the glow of downtown wealth. Each stop felt like a countdown to reality. He clutched the box on his lap, thinking of his wife Rebecca and their 2 children, Noah and Hannah, and how he would explain that the health insurance was gone. That the rent was due, that faith would have to stretch further than ever before. The bus finally dropped him near a row of aging duplexes where streetlights flickered like tired sentinels. Michael parked a block away, telling himself he was only curious, that this was an exercise in understanding his workforce. But curiosity faltered into something else as he watched Jacob unlock a door with peeling paint and step inside a home far removed from the executive condos Michael knew. Minutes later, the door opened again, and a small boy ran out to greet Jacob, wrapping his arms around his father's waist with unfiltered joy. A younger girl followed, her laugh ringing into the street, and then Rebecca appeared, her posture weary yet warm as she ushered them all back inside. The CEO remained in his car, frozen. This was not the image of carelessness or indifference he had justified in his mind. This was a family balanced carefully on routine and resilience. As the evening unfolded through uncovered windows, Michael saw Jacob kneeling at the kitchen table, helping with homework under a dim light, then disappearing into the backyard to fix a broken fence with tools worn from use. There was no bitterness in Jacob's movements, only determination shaped by necessity. Inside that modest home, the loss of a job did not erupt into chaos. It settled quietly, like a storm cloud acknowledged but not yet unleashed. Rebecca's face tightened when Jacob placed the box on the counter, but she steadied herself, reaching for her children and pulling them close. Faith filled the gaps where money could not. They prayed together, not for revenge or pity, but for strength. Michael watched all of this, his chest tightening as each moment stripped away another layer of his assumptions. The next day, Michael returned to the office unsettled. Meetings blurred together, profit charts felt hollow, and the echo of children's laughter haunted his thoughts. He requested a full audit of recent firings and found a pattern he had ignored for years, systems that punished those with the least margin for error. That evening, instead of going home, he drove back to Jacob's Street, this time parking openly. He did not knock. He did not announce himself. He simply sat there, wrestling with the weight of leadership stripped of humanity. Over the following days, Michael learned more than he had intended. He discovered that Jacob had been covering extra shifts to support his mother, Margaret, who lived in a nursing facility 2 counties away. He learned that the failed inspections stemmed from outdated equipment requests that had gone unanswered. Each fact landed like a quiet accusation. The CEO who believed himself decisive now felt small beneath the realization that his efficiency had blinded him to responsibility. Change did not come with a grand speech or public apology. It began with action. Michael reversed the termination, reinstating Jacob with full benefits, but he did not stop there. He authorized equipment upgrades, revised leave policies, and established a fund for employees facing medical hardship. When Jacob returned to work, his posture carried caution, but also a dignity that no firing could erase. Michael saw it clearly now, the strength that had been invisible behind a job title. The true transformation unfolded slowly. Trust rebuilt not through words, but consistency. Michael visited facilities unannounced, listened without interrupting, and learned names he had once overlooked. Jacob continued his work with the same quiet excellence, but now his presence carried something more, a reminder that resilience thrives where respect is given room to breathe. The company's culture shifted, not dramatically, but deeply, as compassion found its way into policy. Near the end of this story, if these moments of humility, redemption, and quiet courage have touched your heart, please show your support by liking the video, sharing it with others, and staying connected to the channel. Your engagement helps keep stories of hope alive. On a crisp autumn evening, months later, Michael drove past Jacob's home one last time. The fence stood straight, the windows glowed warmly, and laughter drifted into the street. He did not stop. He did not need to. The lesson had already settled where it mattered. Leadership, he understood now, was not about control but care, not about power but presence. Before this story ends, please take a moment to comment below and share what this journey meant to you, or who it reminded you of. The silence that followed was not empty. It was full of understanding, of a CEO who learned that the measure of success is not found in towers of glass, but in the lives quietly held together by faith, perseverance, and the courage to see one another fully.